Digital Photography, created by the Center of Excellence, narrated by Greyson. Digital Photography. Introduction. We all know the phrase, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," which is why the ability to take a good picture is a skill that is worth aiming for. Taking photographs will always be important to us, whether it's an intimate photograph of our family and friends, or a wide-angle shot of the landscape or cityscape where we live. Taking a photograph is a way of preserving our most important memories with the click of a button. But just because taking a picture is easy doesn't mean a good picture is easy to take. This course will guide you in the simplest methods to take the best photographs you can possibly achieve using your digital camera in the most effective way possible. Most of us now carry smartphones wherever we go, which means we can take a picture as easily as speaking. It's useful, too, to think of photography as a language, albeit one that uses light, aperture, and shutter speed instead of vocabulary, but one that can talk to us just as clearly. Photography can make artists of all of us because we are free to express ourselves in the photographs we take. Photography can help us to express our joy, our happiness, wonder, and creativity because it has the power to move us by speaking directly to our emotions. And this digital photography course will guide you in expressing your emotions step by step in a clear, concise manner. The course is made up of 17 modules covering the following topics. Module 1. Equipment. In this module, we look at the history of photography as well as what to look for when choosing a camera. We explore the different modes on the camera itself, as well as which accessories to invest in. Module 2. ISO. In this module, we look at ISO, film speed and sensitivity to light. You will be introduced to the correct ISO settings for the conditions on the day you are shooting. We also look at ISO and its relationship to exposure and what happens to your images when the ISO setting is incorrect. Module 3. Aperture. In this module, we look at the importance of aperture, how to measure aperture, and how it affects the depth of field. Module 4. Shutter speed. In this module, we look at shutter speed and light, which is measured in seconds and fractions of seconds. You will learn that fast shutter speeds are needed to freeze action and motion blur is not always a bad thing. We also look at using a tripod. Module 5. Correct exposure. In this module, we look at the exposure triangle, the combination of ISO, aperture, and shutter speed to create the correct exposure. You will also explore the concept of exposure bracketing to capture the perfect shot. We then look at your camera's light meter and the use of histograms, the visual representation of the highlights, shadows, and midtones in your images. Module 6. White balance. In this module, we look at the relationship between white balance and accurate color in your images. We look at setting white balance both automatically and manually, and how altering the white balance can alter the mood of an image. Module 7. Depth of field. In this module, we look at the area of the image in focus, the depth of field. We explore shallow depth of field and a greater depth of field, and we discuss how depth of field is a useful compositional technique when used correctly. Module 8. RAW. In this module, we explore RAW files in detail. RAW files are the uncompressed data stored by your camera, larger and more detailed than JPEG files. We examine why RAW files are more appropriate for portraits, and we compare RAW and JPEG generally, explaining which file type suits which photograph the best. Module 9. Light. In this module, we look at the importance of light. We explore the concept of the best natural light during the magic hour, as well as artificial light. We also discuss shadows and highlights in our images, and the contrast between underexposing and overexposing a photograph. Module 10. Composition. In this module, we will look at the ways we can improve the composition of our photographs. We discuss the concept of the rule of thirds and the golden spiral. We also examine cropping and symmetry. Module 11. Landscape. In this module, we look at landscape photography and explore tips for taking the best images in this category. We explain how important it is
Sample complete. Ready to continue?